So what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this this song play out, and we welcome Audrey onto After 5 Radio. Well, ladies and gentlemen, she is here, and let's welcome her with a loud round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We have in the room our guest.
Thank you, Coach Taff. You're too kind.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Audrey. It is such an honor to have you, and thank you so much for your patience. We were seeming to be getting a little challenge there connecting, but we're excited that you could join us. Welcome, Audrey.
Thank you once again. And you know, patience is a virtue. So yeah, I was patient. Thank you very much.
So who's Audrey?
Audrey is a marketer by profession. My 9-to-5 job is in a hardware store in Zimbabwe, and I'm a mother to 3 girls. I love God, and I'm just passionate about life. That's me.
But you know what, Audrey, have you ever heard a Zimbabwean say they don't love God? I'm just saying. I mean, it's almost like the whole clan is going to be set down. Guys, where are you from, Audrey?
My home rural area is Chiwota, but I grew up in Avondale, and that's me.
So tell me, today I was profiling my baby sister, and we were celebrating her, and I'm going to be in trouble because my mom sent me a message and she says, and I'm like, Mom, my life is kind of like an open book. What are you a last born?
Yes and no.
Okay, now explain how you can say yes and no.
Okay, so in my mom's family, I'm the last born, and then my dad married another wife, and I'm the third born. He had 3 other kids after that. So yeah.
So you are yes and no. So that's pretty cool. So anyway, you wrote a book, and that's the book we want to profile today. It's got a very, very interesting title. Life Will Humble You. I mean, Audrey, that's scary. Why would you, before you even go into the book, what was the inspiration behind it?
Well, the inspiration is, I don't know, maybe you haven't been humbled by life, but everyone I know has been humbled by life in the smallest way possible, and for some in the biggest way possible. It happens. You think you've got a plan, and then it doesn't happen according to that plan. So that's when the humbling comes into effect. So ultimately, you become a better person after that whole incident.
Wow. So what did you do first? Did you come up with the title first, or you went into what this? I believe when I read this book before I got to meet you. I came to your book launch, by the way. I came to your book launch, and I went around the back. I came in late, and I didn't want anybody to see me, and I sat at the back. And when it was time for the book signing, I went straight to the book counter, and your daughter was there. She was making sure that everything was moving, and I just paid. I was wearing a hat, and I snuck out. And then I read your book, and I couldn't put this book down. And then I got to meet you. In actual fact, we actually haven't met face to face, but we've been talking on the social media platforms. And then you see, I can't even say it because I cannot believe that this is a fictitious book. Hello, Audrey, are you there? So, guys, I'm just saying that as Audrey tries to log back in, is that when I read this book, and to this very day, when I read books, I take some time to, go through slowly. This is one of those books I failed to put down. And when the first time I got to interact with Audrey, the first thing I asked her was, so tell me the story behind the story. Because I couldn't believe it. So Audrey, you're back. We can hear you now.
All right. I was saying, to answer your first question, I did think of the title first before I actually wrote the book. So the title was always there because, I just thought, you know what, let me put this to pen and paper, and then I'd come up with a story concept which fits the title. So that's what I did.
So I guess you didn't hear what I was saying then. I was saying that when I got your book, I came home and started going through the pages, and it's one of those books. This year, I must say, I'm gonna say this, and I'm not afraid to say this, but this has been one of my very best reads. It's in my top 3 best reads this year. And when I interacted with you, I remember the first question I asked you was, "Tell me the story behind the story," and you said it was a fictitious book.
Yes, it is a fictitious book. But
And
I must say it was inspired by maybe 5 to 10% of real life story. So yeah, it is a fictitious book, but then inspiration is all over. It could be you, it could be your friends, it could be stories that you hear as you go about.
So tell us about your book. What is this book? If you could just give us a little background about your book, and then I want to ask a couple of questions. I want to talk about Rhonda. I want to talk about the guy who was dreadlocked. I want to talk about love. Man, that guy loved his woman. I want to talk about hurt. I want to talk about pain. Your book has got every single drama in relationships. So give us a little background.
All right, so basically you've got Rhonda and you've got Rico. These are 2 people with serious issues, past, present, and so they have a chance meeting in a work-related environment. And then so in this book, I was trying to paint a picture of their love, their fight for their love, for their faith, for their family. And ultimately, faith actually prevails and they live in faith ever after.
Did you just say faith ever after?
Yes, faith ever after. That's my concept. That's what I'm trying to say to people out there. That it doesn't matter the circumstances that you find yourself in. There is a faith ever after for you. Whether you're male or female, something good will come after that. You just got to believe and you just got to keep moving.
So we have one of our DJs. She broadcasts from the United Kingdom, and her name is Janice, and her program is Janice Diaries. I'm sure she would like to tweet that one. And we also have our guy who's helping us out with our social media, Tatenda. I'm going to say, Tatenda, if you can hear me, please tweet that one. Faith ever after hashtag Audrey Chirenje. Man, that's powerful. So what was Rhonda's past?
Rhonda had been thrown out of a matrimonial home. Can you believe that? Thrown out. And what was her crime? Her crime was she couldn't conceive. And then it goes into the book now to say, so she thought she couldn't conceive. But that's how she had been thrown out of a matrimonial home. And she was broke. She was depressed. She was going on a whole lot of issues. That's Rhonda.
And that's a very sad situation in Zimbabwe. A lot of marriages have been broken because of that matter, that sometimes women and men have problems having children, and it is always thrown onto the woman. And what was Rico's problem?
Rico, oh my gosh. I mean, he comes from a Christian background. I mean, his parents are pastors, mega church founders in Zimbabwe. But then this guy has been to jail. Can you imagine that? And then if you just look at him, he doesn't fit the whole correct social profile. The guy sports dreadlocks, and he's had a past drinking, partying. And on top of that, he's an entertainment manager. That is job. So that means he hangs around in all these circular classes, which is just not acceptable for a pastor's son.
Oh my gosh. And so I really like, let's just take a step back from the story, because the story is powerful, and I'll let you continue. But your style of writing, Audrey, your style of writing is one of those urikunyora ombotisiya ointroduce nyaya omboicheta oenda kune imwe, and we're like, come on, but when you keep going, and that's why I couldn't put it down, because I wanted to know more. And I'm not that kind of guy who reads quickly past and tries to find out, because even if you try, You wonder what happened in the past. So you want to go back to the pages. Tell me about your style of writing.
Well, my style, I don't even know if I know the style of it. But then in my mind, I'm trying to be controversial, but with a purpose, So I'm bold, I'm candid. And yeah, I introduce all these other characters because they all fit into the ultimate picture of the whole story.
So let me play a song because I want to get to the interesting part, and then maybe somebody out there will remember this song. This is a rendition of that song by Pat Medina featuring Mr. Brown. So hold on, Audrey, as we play this song, and I want to then just throw people into the part of the story that I like. So let's listen to this. And those are our brothers doing the very most in South Africa, from South Africa to the world. And they are singing that song, You Raised Me Up. And that was Pat Medina featuring Mr. Brown. And Mr. Brown has been doing great things out there in South Africa, in Mzansi. And so, Audrey, I can only imagine that Rhonda akatomboimba chete song iyi. Because pane pazvinombopresa shamwari. Audrey, are you there?
Yeah. Yes, I'm there. I can hear you. Rhonda zvakatombomupresera for real. She, like I said, she was going through financial issues. The one time she actually had to, buy a loaf of bread, and she saved that loaf of bread. I mean, that was breakfast, lunch, and supper, and water.
Audrey's audio is coming in and out, but we are going to be very patient because indeed sometimes life will humble you. And as she was cut off there, the network is being funny for us. Is that she's talking about, and maybe you've been through that. And we want you to send us a message and talk about the times that life has indeed humbled you. As Audrey is still trying to get back into studio, is she was explaining that, Rhonda akambotenga Rof, guys. Rof rakaita breakfast, lunch, supper, and you're back, Audrey.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was saying, she had to, cut her hair. She had to, she had to go to Kotomai Boutique. That's our boutique here in Zim where you go and buy second-hand clothes.
Hold on. You know what it's Sairini. Oh my gosh. Did you say Kotomai? What did you call it?
Kotamai Boutique,
Where is that?
Exactly. For those of you who don't know, we've got a place in Mare called Mpezanamo. So that's where you go to buy your second-hand clothing. So they're like on the ground. So you actually have to literally kneel down or, bend and look for the item that you want. So that's Kotamai Boutique.
Wow. And so I played that song, You Raised Me Up. Tell us about the chance meeting of Rhonda and Rico.
Yeah, so Rhonda is a high profile PR marketing executive, and then Rico is an entertainment manager. So yeah, he's got a client that needs some PR and marketing help. So they go to Rhonda's company. That's the chance meeting, and in the boardroom right there, I mean, Rico calls it his Moses burning bush moment, and yeah, for Rhonda, she actually felt all those butterflies in her tummy tingle down the spine, and she actually froze for a moment. I mean, someone had to actually cough to bring her back to life. That's how amazing their chemistry was, their connection was.
And, there's something very interesting in your book that I really love, and I have been seeing a lot as a coach. I get to see quite a bit. And tell me about the reality. I don't even want you to talk about your book in this case, but the reality that you bring out about a matter that I actually write in terms of, I'm sure you've heard about my reckless verses.
Yes, I have, Coach, and I've seen some of them too. Very inspiring and crazy at the same time.
And so I write a reckless verse about red flags. And sometimes our women do not see the diamond because they're looking through the lenses of their past. Tell us about that in general, and how you use that to inspire your book, Life Will Humble You.
All right. Yeah. If you look at Rico, like I said, the guy is sporting dreadlocks. Number one, he hangs around. Like in this case, the musician that they were looking for help for was one of those. He had been in some very controversial storm in the country, and Rico also, if you look at him, he was a snob. This was a private school kid, so he was a snob. He would take Rhonda to all these fancy places, and he was rich. He was coming from a very rich background, so they had money. And then the other thing, he had been to jail, so he was like a jail bird or an ex-con, whatever you want to term it. That's a major red flag for a lot of women. But because these people trusted so much in God, both of them were Christians. I don't know, some would judge them that they're not the conventional Christians, but these people actually were Christians. They would pray. They had a relationship with God. So their trust in God, it made their relationship ultimately prevail. Yeah.
You know what? At this stage, I'm sure somebody is itching to buy your book. Where can we find? Can we find it somewhere online?
Yes, my book is on Amazon, both versions, and then if you're in Zimbabwe, there are 2 bookshops, Enough 8 and Best Books, and then you can always talk to me direct, and we can always arrange and send a PDF version for you.
Is it safe for you to give out your number?
Well, I can give you my social media platforms.
Fantastic.
On Facebook,
I'm
on Audrey Chirenje, Facebook. And then I'm on LinkedIn, Audrey Chirenje again. On Twitter, I'm on AN Chirenje D. And then I do have a Facebook page, AN Chirenje the author.
I must say, the reason why I hesitated about your number is because your book has this amazing ability to draw you in. And for some reason, it wants the reader to connect with you directly. How has that been, Audrey, with you becoming a celebrity author?
Jeez, I don't like that title. I'm not a celebrity, and I don't think I'll ever see myself as one. I just remain basic Audrey.
Yeah.
But yeah, the response has been amazing. I mean, like I said, this was me just trying to express myself, and people have given me testimonies. I had one woman send me pictures, and she said, my Rico has proposed.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I was just blown away. So it's been amazing, and I thank God for that.
So did Rico propose in the book?
Yes, he did propose to Rhonda. I mean, and in front of a whole audience. This was like at the Emma's, Entertainment Music Awards. And yeah, he did propose, with a big 24-carat diamond ring. Yeah.
And then something happened. They discovered something. I mean, Audrika, because you take us through. I must tell you, I'm going to make a confession. I cried when I read your book.
Really?
I cried because the way you draw us in, the way you make us. You know what? I'm gonna talk to. There's one of our DJs. She is super emotional. Her name is Samantha Clare. I think if Samantha Clare gets a hold of your book, that girl will probably not come on air for a couple of days. Actually, I'm gonna make sure that she gets a copy and that she reads it only over the weekend, because that's how amazing your book was. I mean, I'm a guy and I cry. That's not cool for me to even say it on national radio. International, this is not national, this is international radio. So what is the new discovery that they find after all these things are happening?
Yeah, so like I initially said, they both had crazy pasts. So like Rico had an ex-wife, and the ex-wife was still hung up on him. So you know how it goes. She makes moves on him, And then she goes on a national TV, live TV show, the Grace Show. And she airs all the dirty laundry about Rico's family. And she even tells people that, she's actually getting back together with him. This is on national television. So for Rhonda now, with all the drama that she had gone through because of this man, she just couldn't handle it anymore. And what did she do? She packed up and went to another country. Not even, this one, she, went to Kenya, to her sister, to just get some time out, to reflect and to think about life. Yeah.
Well, that's very, very, very interesting. And with that, I'm going to play a song by Brian Nira. And there's something that is also brewing on the side, yeah, Rhonda. And here's a song that will probably set you up for what's going to happen next as you narrate your amazing story.
Would you still love me?
So Samantha was live a few hours earlier before I came on, and Audrey, she was talking about self-love. And indeed, there was a season where hi Audrey, are you there now? I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you, Coach Taff. Thank you.
Fantastic. So I hope you listened to the whole song. But we're talking about the song, yeah, Brian Nira, Would You Still Love Me? And Rhonda went through a season where she didn't love herself. She looked at herself as a misfit and all of that. That was tough.
Definitely, it was tough. And that's why this book for me is so interesting in the sense that, you've got Rhonda, society has dealt her a heavy blow. She's lost her confidence. She's lost her money. The ex-husband has stolen her money. She's lost everything, her place in society. I mean, as people view life, Pierre and them. And so, but then here comes this man, and he sees her and he has a light bulb moment and he goes against all the odds just to be with her. So that's how come this book is so amazing.
So tell me, with all your life experiences, with all this amazing content that you create, your language in it, the way you draw us in, what sort of advice would you give somebody who seems or thinks they've lost everything? How should people deal with that?
Yeah, as the slang in the streets go by, but then we are saying, when life humbles you like that, you must get back on your feet and you must look at life square in the eyes and live and try again, believe again, hope again. Because I promise you, there's always a second, a third, a fourth, a seventh chance. Even the Bible says a righteous man can fall 7 times, but he will get back again. I know there's this famous poem from Maya Angelou. She says all these are the things, and then there's a but, and she says, "Still I rise." So you must do that.
Wow, that's really powerful. And then we discover that Rhonda is pregnant.
Yes, shocker. I was trying to just put drama. Like I said, I'm in my mind, I'm always controversial. That's how I think. Though people used to think I was weird. So yeah, she's been thrown out of her house for failure to conceive, and then now she's pregnant. And so that's contrast. That's in the Shona society even. I mean, like we all know that Rico went ahead and looked after this pregnancy, which wasn't his, but he claimed it to be his, and he ultimately married her like that. So number one, number two, which is, like the ex-husband then kind of figures out that it might be his child. But then these two just forge ahead with their lives, with all the controversy surrounding them.
Wow, that's amazing. And you talk about, did you say Maya Angelou?
Yes.
Well, she was a powerful woman, and And indeed, sometimes we have to look at life like that. Let me see if I can find something from her, and maybe I can allow us to listen into what she really says in that particular
Everyone
thing.
in the
There she
world
goes.
has gone to bed one night or another with fear or pain or loss or disappointment. And yet each of us has awakened, arisen, somehow made our ablution, seen other human beings, and said, "Morning, how are you? Fine, thanks, and you?" It's amazing. Wherever that abides in the human being, there is the nobleness of the human spirit. Despite it all, black and white, Asian, Spanish, Native American, pretty, plain, thin, fat, vowed or celibate, we rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Just 'cause I walk as if I have oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like suns and like moons, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high. Still I rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down my teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my sassiness upset you? Don't take it so hard just 'cause I laugh. As if I have gold mines digging in my own backyard. You can shoot me with your words. You can cut me with your lies. You can kill me with your hatefulness. But just like life, I rise. Does my sexiness offend you? Oh. Does it come as a surprise that I dance as if I have diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame I rise. Up from a past rooted in pain I rise. A black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak miraculously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the hope and the dream of the slave. And so, naturally, there I go rising.
Isn't that amazing, Audrey, to hear her?
Amen.
I mean, that was the story of Rhonda, and we were just listening there to our listeners. We're listening to Maya Angelou. She's late now, but she left us with diamonds, 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 and this is the story of Rhonda.
That's correct. And Maya Angelou was wisdom personified. Yeah.
Yeah, and so what about the backlash from the family when they finally discovered that she's pregnant?
Well, for Rico's family, I mean, like I said, he had an ex-wife, he'd had, affairs. So the father, I mean, he's a pastor. He's like, I told you in this family we court for marriage, and now you've got a girl pregnant. He got some serious backlash, but then he stuck to his guns. He didn't reveal that he wasn't even the father. He hadn't even slept with her at that point, but he took all the backlash for her. True love right there.
Oh my gosh, is that kind of love still out there, Audrey?
I believe so. I mean, I remember one of my friends saying, Rico wakomkomana wembuka, hakuna wakomana wakadai." But I promise you, I see stories, I hear stories all over. It might not be exactly the actions that Rico did, but there's so many people doing extra amazing things, sacrificing themselves for the sake of the love. It's still there. It does exist.
Wow, super, super, super exciting. And so let's just listen to one more song, and then when we come back, you can close this out and tell us a little bit more, and you also tell us whether or not you are writing some more, And this is a song by Gemma Griffins, and it's a rendition of one of Winky D's songs. Let's listen to this. And as we play that out, Audrey, there then is a part that Rhonda's ex-husband wants to come in and bulldoze himself into their lives. And there's something that happens, and there's a conversation that you should teach many men to have. There's a men-to-men discussion between Rhonda's husband and Rico. Just give us a little insight into that one.
Well, that one, yeah, it's a bit funny. Well, basically, Rico told this guy that, you know what, listen up, you punk, you do not call my wife ever again. I'm paraphrasing here. You had the chance to be with her and you didn't treasure her. So now she's now my treasure. She was your rubbish, but now she's my treasure. And he basically just shut him down. So yeah, that was good.
Wow, I thought that was really powerful. So, you know what? We want people to buy your book, so we're not going to preempt. There's much more to this story. Now, I don't know if you want to say something else about this book before we go to the next, because you know what? That guy was humbled, by the way. I mean, first of all, the amazing thing is Rhonda was humbled, and then her life transformed. By the way, she burned some stuff, and then and then at that stage, Rico was humbled. Rico was humbled so many times, and then Rhonda's husband, who thought he was doing the very best, and remind me, did he not go out with Rhonda's friend? Wasn't that the case?
No.
Who was the woman?
No.
Who was the woman?
The
ex-husband.
Oh yeah, she was like from the same neighborhood. So yeah, it wasn't a friend, but it was someone from the same neighborhood.
Oh my gosh.
Who actually, yeah.
And this guy gets dumped. Anyway, people must buy the book. Where will they get this book? Remind us again.
Okay, the book is on Amazon. So for all the diasporan people, they can get it online. And then I've got my social media pages: Facebook, Audrey Chirinje; LinkedIn, Audrey Chirinje; Twitter, I'm on A.N. Chirinje, and then my Facebook page is A.N. Chirinje, the author. So for some reason, if you can't get an Amazon copy, I can always send you a PDF, because we're trying to make sure that as many people out there can read the book. Yeah.
Fantastic. So is there anything else you'd like to talk about before I ask about your next writings and what we can expect from you? Would you like to say anything more about Life Will Humble You?
No, I just wanted to say, you know what, no matter what you're going through right now, it might be money, it might be marriage, it might be love, it might be life, you know what, and you think, there's no other way. This is rock bottom. I can't get back up from this. I just want to say to you, you know what, when life humbles you, you must look at life square in the eye and tell it that you're going to leave. You know, when life gives you lemonade, you must go and make a lemon meringue pie, make a lemonade, plant a lemon plantation. There's so many options that you can do after a life-changing event. Yeah.
Wow. So what else can we expect from you?
All right. If you read the book, you will see that I paid special attention to Ropa. That's Rico's sister. She's based in Canada. And then there's an agent, Ralph, who features somewhere along the way. So my book, funny enough, I wrote these books, one in July and one in August last year. So right now I'm actually finalizing on the publishing of my second book. It's called Chances, and it's like a spin-off from Life Will Humble You, and it features Ropa and Agent Ralph. And then also I'm working on my third book. This is totally detached from this family, just trying to broaden my horizon. But once again, the approach is the same: candid, controversial, different, but all in all, I'm just trying to, present life lessons in that manner so that people learn and people embrace and they move on with their lives.
As a first-time author, what is the greatest surprise that this book has brought to you?
Wow. Like I say, the surprise was, when you're writing, this is crazy and different and you haven't seen much of it. So you think, are people actually going to like this and buy this? But I actually have fans, who are actually waiting for my second book, and they're like, no, we want some more. So that has been amazing. I've had people, very influential people, giving my book a very good review and sharing on their social pages. I'm amazed because I'm just this basic person, like I told you. So for that, I'm very grateful.
Well, thank you so much, Audrey, for joining us on After 5 Radio. We want to say, may God bless you. Fambana she mleshe zvonoita, ramba uchibudirira, ramba uchinyora, and please take the world with your amazing creativity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.